listening to me, yo, you underground.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Connected with Cari. We are slowly getting to the end of season 10. Yes, I always say that almost every week, but end of July will be the end of season 10. So welcome to Connected with Cari here on Jess TV, Jess FM. We are streaming live through Underground Radio, see Facebook page, and YouTube. I finally got my YouTube up, so if you guys want to go over and like and subscribe, that would be awesome. We're also live through the YouTube page for Jess TV as well. So you'll always find us there. There's always different shows that they have going on, which is really cool. We're also live on the radio as well, so you can check us out there, live through the Roku TV station, app 101. So even if you type in SSH 101, I think it's .ca, we're live, like you can go on your phone and we're live there too, and it's through the radio and everything, which is cool. We included Meta TV not too long ago, probably now, I'd say it's been about 2 months. So that is live through, Meta TV is live through Italy. Same with the NCG television network in Italy, which we've always streamed through them. So they're amazing and awesome. We've had a couple people from Italy on the show as well, and it's just incredible. The crazy thing is that it's like 2 a.m. over there right now on a Sunday morning. So when guests do come on that are from overseas, it's usually super early in the morning for them, unless it's a pre-recorded show. So, you know, it's one of those things where it's just incredible to have them on. So we always love your support when we have those guests that do come from very far away, come on the show. So this evening, though, I don't have a guest from very far away, probably just across the street almost. So locally here in Calgary. So welcome, Calgarians, to the show. Of course, we're celebrating Calgary Stampede, so which started just on Thursday evening for a sneak peek. We're getting into it this morning. I had an awesome Stampede breakfast. Usually I don't go because I'm like, the lineups to be able to get breakfast, but this one was amazing. If you are in Calgary, I suggest going over to, it was in Glenmorgan, and it was Richard's Pub. I want to say Richard's Pub. I think that's what it was. They put on the Stampede breakfast, and boy, was it incredible, because they had the local venues come in, like Glenmorgan Bakery and the Safeway that's right there. So it's like all in that little strip mall. It was literally to die for, because Glenmorgan, they put out their cheese buns and they threw them on the grill, and mwah, I tell you, we were just at the end of the line grabbing our buns, and everyone was scarfed those down like it was no tomorrow. They were so cheesy and buttery, and I was like, calories don't count for Stampede, guys. Like, you're going to walk it off anyway down to the grounds. I'm going down to the grounds tomorrow, so it's going to be super fun. Make sure, though, you guys dress for it. Stay hydrated, because that's a big one, especially next week, because we are going to be having a couple days that it's going to be hot. So without further ado, that's the going on. So if you're in Calgary, come out, have some fun. But yes, please stay hydrated. Without further ado, local Calgarian to the show.
Hello,
welcome, Brian. How are you?
How are you? I'm well. I'm out.
Well, happy Stampede.
Happy Stampede. Yahoo.
Yahoo! Woohoo! That's how it goes. Yeah. Are you going down to the grounds? And do you go down every year? What's your tradition?
Last night I did. So the weather was nice, so why not, right? I plan to go there maybe 5 days throughout the whole period. Try to get to the grandstand. So tempting to watch the rodeo this time. I watch on TV all the time, but you know, being a location live is awesome. And of course, things are a little bit different. Like how they help people navigate, how they put the stuff, how they zone all of those, entertainment is a lot better. I think the traffic flow it was great last night. So I commend everyone. At least get down to the Stampede ground, at least once throughout these 10 days.
Right, exactly. Usually it's kind of a hit and miss for me. Last year I didn't go. The year before, I think I only went once. And then the year before that, I actually did more of the Calgary Stampede, like the Cowboys tent. And I went
Right.
and saw like a whole bunch of artists play. And if those of you who are watching, if you've never been down to the Calgary Stampede, we have amazing, amazing acts that come through. Like we've had Nelly, we've had Snoop Dogg. So Shania Twain, she plays tonight. She was also our parade
Yes.
marshal. So just amazing and super cool acts. And then we have, those are more like the bigger ones, but we also have smaller, you know, kind of acts that have been like they were big and now they're not as big. You know, and they play like on the Coca-Cola stage. I don't even know if it's called the Coca-Cola stage anymore, but it's a
It
smaller
is.
stage in the park,
Yeah.
and you can just catch them just off and on. They just play randomly, and it's just so fun. But I do like how, like you said, this year it is way more organized where they have like you can get on the app, the Calgary Stampede app. They also have an app for the pancake breakfast, believe it
Correct.
or not.
It's amazing how many, maybe like tens of thousands of Stampede breakfasts in Calgary.
It's
Um,
incredible. Like so many.
Opportunities.
Yeah, yeah. So if you can't find one near, I'm sure there's one near everyone pretty much like almost every day. There's got to be something really close by. So pick one, pick your poison, as they say. So it's been cool. And I think Stampede's been traditional for a lot of people. So Brian, please tell us, because you are a Calgarian, take us through a little bit about yourself. I know there's the Calgary culture, but take us through, if you were born here, why did you come here? Because we want to talk a little bit about culture, and then we're also going to get into a few of the things that you are involved in the city, and a few other very important topics that we're going to dive into after that. So I'm going to put you solo screen. You're going to just take it away, and then I'll pop in and ask a few questions. So go give her.
Hi, my name is Brian Wong. Born and raised in Hong Kong. I came here when I was completing my high school diploma in Hong Kong, and then a few months later, ended up in Calgary. But I have my family pioneer, which is my sister, who came here first. So to say, I had no idea where Calgary was, and what I knew was, I went to my high school library. I talked to the librarian, and he found the newspaper and the map, paper map. There's no Google Maps, some 30 years ago. He said, "This is Calgary. Oh, by the way, they have a very good hockey team. Looks like they're winning the division." So I had no idea. I went back home, played video games, NHL '93, and then I played video game, and I found Calgary. So that was my knowledge about Calgary, and I came here to study my university time. And then I think the aha moment was I felt, one of the reasons why Calgary is so nice is because of the people, the hospitality. I'm not talking about just the stampede time. It's every day. You go on the street and you can talk to strangers, and they're lovely. And that struck me the most about like why Calgary was such a nice place, quiet back then. So I decided to stay. And of course, in the next um, 2+ decades, I found my job, I found my career, I found my stepping stone, I found my opportunities to grow, and I decided to stay. And I have my family, and now I have 2 kids. They're all in Calgary, born and raised as well. So if you ask me about Calgary and why I stay in Calgary, it's because of the people. And after 30 years, pretty much, I still say it's the people. So yeah, if you have not been to Calgary, I welcome you. And now I work in a broadcast media environment. So mainly my daily job is news, current affairs. I also touch on sports and culture and arts as well. So I would say I'm a storyteller in a bigger scheme of things. That's Brian Wong.
In a nutshell, just packaged all there, bam. So that's pretty cool how you actually came from Hong Kong and you're like, what's this Calgary? And I had to laugh. You're like, oh, the paper maps, because there was
Yeah.
no Google Maps. Like, and I remember, being little and you're in the car and your parents had the paper map out and it's like, they take up almost the entire front seat of the car, and you can't even look out. You don't
Yeah,
you don't know where you're going because
it
it's
was
like.
fun. It was fun.
So that just brought me right back, and I was like, oh my goodness, like that is so true. I remember even using like paper maps when like newer parts of the city were being built. And I was like,
Mhm.
I don't even know where I'm going, and I live in the city. And I'm like, I still Google Map things to this day when I'm like, where is this place? Because
Very good
Calgary
point.
it's growing so like so
Yes.
fast. So tell us a little bit about
Mm.
um, your broadcasting journey and what you got into today, because I know it's like you kind of skimmed through a little bit of your bio, but let's get into it a little bit deeper and get into, a little bit why did you choose broadcasting? You know, what was it for you that you're like, yeah, I really, really want to get into that? So
Yeah.
let's go into that.
It's absolutely not by design. My very first career path, my goal was to become a professional footballer, which is a soccer player, not American football, in Hong Kong. It didn't work out. It was working out until I think the journey as in having higher education somewhere else. I took French in Hong Kong. Just weird. I'm very weird. I took French in Hong Kong, and right before the diploma exam, they changed the curriculum and the criteria how you can get into universities in Hong Kong. So French would not be counted, and I say, okay, well, I had no option but to leave. So that is back then when I was in high school, I think grade 11, grade 12, my plan was to become a footballer, a professional footballer. I was very close to become that. So I had to change. So I took design in Calgary again. As an Asian, when you tell your parents, they say, well, not the Bachelor of Commerce, not the Bachelor of Economics. I'm going for architecture, interior design, fashion design, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, okay, stop there. Let's talk. And I say, no, I will go for that. My second career choice was to become a drafts person. Unluckily, it was not the time in Calgary that was not there was not a lot of like construction and development, and I couldn't find a job. So eventually, I went to marketing, multimedia person, and then I met my eventual producer manager in broadcasting. So I challenged myself because I'm an introvert. Oh, I should say I'm an ambivert. So introvert, extrovert. I'm sort of in between. I'm not a good talker, to be very honest, some time ago. So I challenged myself, say, okay, well, it is a job. At the beginning, it was a survival job. I say, okay, I can get in. What should I do? So the manager said, okay, let's do news. No one wants to do news. Brian, you do news. Okay, I said, okay, whatever. I also want to do sports. Okay, I'll give you that. So I have news and sports segments when I broke into broadcasting career. And I use that as a platform to challenge myself to improve my storytelling skill. Um, it's fun and weird at the same time. You're talking to the mic, to the microphone, and you don't know where the other people are, right? So it's what they call on air. You on air. The air waves goes to different people. I had no idea. So I challenged myself, and then I started early 2000, and I fell in love with this profession and keep refining, keep asking people, keep finding solutions, keep wandering around, how can I be better, right? And eventually I went from radio to TV and back to the radio. And now is, of course, the digital realm, everything is kind of lumped together, right? There's no boundaries, like radio and TV and multimedia, social media, everything is all in one. So throughout these years, I learned a lot, but the cornerstone of my career is storytelling. So I've been telling stories in my last 30 years in Calgary, in Hong Kong, and of course many parts of the world as well. And because of that, I was given an opportunity to work for some major brands as well. CBC Radio, the Calgary Eye Opener, and Calgary Flames. Now I'm still Flames TV Chinese host, and more multimedia opportunity as well. So I'm very grateful, I would say. But to me, is I'm a student of life. I learn every day. I try to learn something, every day and improve myself.
Yeah. Which that is so cool because when you are in our industry, it's truly so funny because you're like, okay, yeah, I'm in radio. And then it's the same. Like people ask me, okay, well, what do you do with radio? Like, what do you talk about? And I'm just like, pretty much everything and anything under the sun.
Yes.
Like there's no cap to a conversation unless, you have a very specific show. Some people may do relationship stuff, or some people may do meditation stuff, or some people may, whatever their niche is, they may go over and do that. And for myself, I'm quite like you. I'm like a nerd and I'm like very like the ambivert. Like I like having my alone time, but I also love being around other people that, I can only stand so much of it. And then I'm like, I need my own time. I'm good. So when it comes to again, right? And it's not that I don't love people. I totally love people, but after a while it's daunting and it can just become a longer day, right? You're just like, I have all this energy and I can only just use so much of it. So I don't want to give everyone my best self. So I'm like, I like to just give it all and then be like, okay, I'm good. And I'm going home now.
Totally. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So when you said, you touched up on sports and then you touched up a little bit on, this and that, whatever. But I love that, sports to me too is just one of those things that I just, not just, I love watching it, not just that, but I love just everything involved with it. And I know you and I are both partners with Kids Play Foundation here in Calgary, which is one of the best things for kids and for sports. And I want to go into the sports thing a little bit because it does drive us. It's one of those mutual loves that we have that, we can either watch a game and love it. I'm not too much into soccer because I didn't grow up too much with it. I did play indoor soccer for a little while, which was fun. But it wasn't like my love of it. But over time, I'd say hockey became one of my greater loves in sports. And I was like, oh, I just love it. But when it came down to watching people play and watching like kids play, when they're so involved in sports and they just begin like this little passion in their hearts when they're small, it's just like the cutest thing in the entire world. You're just like,
oh, yeah, totally. I love those moments, and you never know when those moments come, right? And it's being there, live, and I play, I coach, I also referee. So from different angles, you have opportunities to see very very amazing things, right? Whether someone score an amazing goal, win a championship, and like you said, celebration. And I remember I saw a kid, running after he scored, and everybody thought, including the coach, thought they would go to the bench and hug each other. No, he just ran past the bench and all the way to the other side of the street and hug his grandma. Right? That's the story that nobody knows. That's the story that it's all about our community at the end, right? Sport is an equalizer, social equalizer. Sport is a second home away from home, right? Sport is also an epitome of life because within that boundary, time boundaries, you have to do it yourself in a way. If you go down injured and if you lost a goal or in different sport you fail to do something, you have to tell yourself, maybe your teammates to come up, pat on your shoulder, say, get up, let's go, because there's no time to leave. You have to keep going and learn from it. I think I would recommend anyone, young and old, to get into some sort of team sport, to understand this is life. This is a life lesson.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go into a little bit of those lessons. I know we just kind of touched up a little bit about, just like the kids celebrating things or whatever, but there's more to it than just like, as parents, we want, the kids involved, because then it's like they're out of the house and they're out of your hair, and they're getting exercise. But there's just really much more to that. So as a coach, tell us a little bit about maybe a few of the life lessons that, not just kids can learn, but I think we can also touch up on like anybody can learn. And of course, any gender as well, because, both genders nowadays really play sports. And now women are going into the major stuff like Team Canada sports and everything. It's really growing. So take us through a few of those things that you've really noticed that you think are really important.
Yeah, I think short answer is a collaboration. Being a coach is not, the ultimate authority. It's not, my way or highway. It shouldn't be. Quality of life, they define quality of sport as well. So there are three things in the quality of sports, in sports. One is good places. Second one is good programs. And the last one is good people. You need to have all three to work together. Let's say you go into a soccer dome or maybe a bubble, that's what we call, and the heat is broken. So it's pretty cold inside, and well, it's not good for soccer, it's not good for sport. So then you have, good infrastructure. You go in, you need to have good programs. Everyone assume that we go there, let's huddle, let's get together. I put you on the left wing, you are a striker, you are a goalkeeper, but you need a plan. So it comes from the good people like the coaches. But it's not the I say, you listen approach anymore. It's a collaboration. One thing I want to highlight is, in one gender, like men's sport or women's sport, or now they also have co-ed, you need to have a balance of views and the understanding of different genders and their background and whatnot. So you need to create a safe space for everyone. They come in, and that's why they will say, and I heard from many young kids, they say, oh yeah, well, these are my bros and sis. It's the second home away from home. And because, why? Let's go back 2 steps. We have good coaches, good programs, and good infrastructure. So as a coach, you look at the same way. As a referee, you also look at the same way. You protect the integrity of the game. So when you conduct a game as a referee, you ensure it is a people's business. You're not in the authority to say, well, everything I said, yes, in the law 5 of the laws of the game in soccer, they said all the referees' decisions are final, but there's a human side in it. So I think at this time, the world that we're living in, you bring people to a place to play a game, whatever sport it is. We have the responsibility to really create that environment and keep striving that excellence, because for a lot of people, it's all about friendship. It's about maybe chicken wings after the game, but it's all about that therapy. It's a meditation. It's a type of, get out and release the pressure. So it's good for our mental health as well. So think about it as this: at the end of the day, it's just for fun. It's just a game, and then we have friendship, and we want to ensure that whatever position I'm in, either as a coach or as a referee, or even I play some friendly matches, I ensure that I do my part, but also I want to help out to create that environment.
Yeah. And that's truly important, because I know, and it really should start as children,
Yeah,
getting them into that right away, because I mean, they do it at school, usually they'll have, some classes doing team sports, but I think just, school structure can be very, sometimes too serious, and then you go into phys ed, and I don't think there's just enough time during class time to be able to implement some of those skills. So when it's over a period of like, some kids actually go through many years of class, sports together. Like they go right from popping into, let's say, we'll use soccer because that's pretty good. So, they get right in there and they start playing, when they're like 6 years old or something like that. And then over years and years and years, they have the same teammates that they sort of grow up with. And then all of a sudden, yeah, they're maybe going to school together, going to junior high, high school, and they're still kind of in the same sport and same teams because they live in the same neighborhood. So ideally, like you said, it becomes a collaboration of, a love, a friendship. And just like you said, there's a huge collaboration between the coach and the players where they all become, not just a team, but they become family in a sense, right? So they really truly understand each other. They learn, who each other are over the time, because even if you're a team, if you're a serious team, you're out there, you're actually traveling together too.
Team bonding time, family bonding time. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So you can imagine, we get the NHL players and we get, our Stampeders, and they're traveling over time. So they're having to be on the road, and they're really getting to know each other when, teammates fall asleep on the bus and, someone gets drawn on. No, I'm just kidding.
I could totally picture that.
Right. But they do. And that's kind of that's like the fun part in a way. Like they kind of have their little inside jokes and they start bonding that way. And I really think that's truly one of the greatest things, is that they're there for each other through thick and thin. Right. I actually had on about a month ago, I'd say, I had Nick Lewis come on, and he's the head receivers coach for the Calgary Stampeders. And he just brought up this short, it was just a little story, but, he was saying that there was one day where one of the players that morning before a game, his dad passed away, not Nick's dad, but another, a player's dad passed away. And I was like, wow, but that player still went out there and he still played his game. But, in between, you having to be able to go on and do his, play, and then whatever, you could see, he's he'd come back to the bench, and sometimes just tears would be flowing. And, everybody else on that bench, they were there for him through that time. So, we should be able to, look at it as it's okay to kind of let your walls down, because they're going to know you through thick and thin and be able to be there. So not just learning how to play together and learning who each other are, but everyone's going through things in their own lives outside of that. So you're bringing that in, and you're doing that collaboration of you have to have a major trust for those teammates to be there. So we can look at that and go, these are incredible lessons that, children are going to start developing very early in those, when they're playing, whether it's at school to start, and then, but I do recommend highly outside of school, and get them out there and try different sports. They don't always maybe one, they may be in a couple sports, and, they'll learn a lot about who they are as well too. Let's go a little bit, because I know you wanted to talk a little bit about representation. Mm-hmm. So I'll let you kind of take the reins on that, and give us a little bit about, maybe representation, and like you said, as a coach, but other ways that you think it's important in our lives.
Yeah, I think we just try to understand this whole multiculturalism, how it works in Canada. I also want to highlight interculturalism, where even I just look at the Chinese community, how many layers are there, and how many different views through different lenses, and the values, and how we see things. Most of the time, we just kind of frame it as cultural shock, even between our own our clan, or the generations between the same diaspora. But when we need to break that by understanding how we could manage our own mental health and be ourselves. I think that's the key. In the Chinese, we have a saying, the 4 steps of being a grown man, or maybe different stages. One is to really take care of yourself, and then you take care of your family. When these two kind of work together, you can manage the community. You go out and support, give back to the community as a volunteer, as a family as well, and then eventually you can look at the country, how you can contribute. It's like 4 stages of maturity for oneself. So, but when it comes to representation, it's so dynamic. I'll give you 2 classic examples in my life journey. One, as a broadcaster, I was a little, junior reporter when I think it was 2003 when there was an outbreak. What they call the technical term is SARS, which is severe respiratory syndrome symptoms, very similar to COVID, but it was in 2003. It started in Hong Kong, and it went to Toronto, and there's like all kinds of conversations about, oh yeah, don't go to the Chinese restaurant, don't go to Chinatown because they brought a virus to Canada. I was a reporter. I tried to stay neutral. I went to Chinatown in Calgary. While I was walking in Chinatown in Calgary, I was just trying to get some streeters, get some vendors, get some restaurant owners, get some people to give me feedback. And, wait a second. And I start wondering and finding, my soundbite and whatnot. And then I realized that someone was following me throughout the time, like 30 minutes. And I turned around, it's another TV station, legacy media TV station. I asked, what can I help you? Seems like you are trying to do something, but the language is a barrier to you. Am I correct? And they said, yeah, no one wants to talk to us white people because, they are scared, or maybe they don't want to. And I said, okay, well, can I give you a help, like maybe a live translation or transliteration of what they said, so that you can have something to work with, when you go back to the station. So I help out. And that's the very first time I realized that, understanding the community for myself would become a value to someone that I assume they also have the superpower to do. And in fact, they don't, which is interesting. And then the second story is when I went to China with the Calgary Flames. There's a lot of, discussions and conversation dialogues about, oh yeah, what about the culture? What about the Peking duck? What about this? And I remember talking to one of the owners, Brian, can you help me find a Starbucks? And I was like, oh, I did not expect that. I'm a Flames TV Chinese. I supposed just to do TV production. And I jumped in and I tried to help as much as I can.
Get out your big map, Brian.
I download this app and it's all Chinese. Okay, let me help you. What do you want? Peking duck. Okay, I order Peking duck for you. Those are amazing stories. So it's interesting when you are, you're building up yourself, building the capacity. And of course, you have to learn. You cannot just say, oh, yeah, I assume I will just grow naturally. No, you have to study. You have to learn. But when you are in different position, things become interesting. So the representation stands out, the equity of your values stand out. And there's so many things that would, eventually become friendship, like I said, from various situations. So those are the 2 stories that I always tell people. And it's very fun when you are in this position versus if you change up and things will change at the same time. So keep in mind, because we should be all students of life, always changing every day and learning every day.
Yeah, I agree. So there you go. Start when you're young, get into sports, learn, get out there. And it's true. Like, I find it very interesting that sometimes, like, when people just don't know you, they don't even understand the knowledge that one person may have. So when you start hanging out with different people, different cultures, then those, stereotypes also diminish. The racism also kind of stops. I think we're now as a culture, we're getting a lot better, especially in Canada. I think all that stuff is practically, almost like it's almost nothing now. So, which is great. We've come a long way, which is amazing and fantastic. So, but the funny thing is that we can all take a joke. right? So even as Canadians, we can be like, oh, you guys are Eskimos or or whatever, you can tear us down. It's always cold, whatever. And it's like, yeah, okay. I mean, it is partly true.
Yeah,
so you're like, whatever.
Sometimes it's the friendship, right? And the tone, right? It's like, okay, well, I understand what is Chinese time means, right?
Yeah.
If you talk to yourself, oh, Brian, it's Chinese time. Come on, man. I'm okay. I'm okay because we understand.
And you should be able to laugh it off, right?
Laugh it off. Yeah.
Right. Have some fun in life and laugh it off and just have fun with it. So with that, Brian, thank you so very much. We're going to wrap up now because we have another show after this. So I just want to say thank you for coming on and just sharing a little bit about yourself, sharing, some of the good qualities that sports has to offer, what you think is very important for a representation of just not just a man, but individually as well, what, people can bring to the table, what we can do for our cultures. I know it was a well-loaded kind of episode, but, if you guys want to go and maybe check out some of Brian's work, please let us know where we can find you. Maybe if you have a YouTube or if you have some other little episodes out there, people can watch you and make some funny comments. That would be great.
Yeah, well, I'm not a YouTuber. You remember, I'm an introvert.
That's right.
I have a personal LinkedIn. Welcome to connect and have a chat. Is linkedin.com/in/Brian Wong TV. One word.
Nice.
If you search by social media, it's all like across, I think, Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram, Twitter. They're all Brian Wong TV. You can check out what I have to say and let me know.
Let them know. Give them some constructive criticism, folks.
Yeah.
Go on your.
So.
I like to call it. I still call it Twitter. I'm not even on Twitter, but everyone still calls it Twitter. I don't think there's hardly anyone that calls it X or whatever, because I don't even know. Something's just not even there. But go on there, follow him, give him some love, and that would be amazing. So with that, Brian, thank you so very much.
Thank you. Likewise. Pleasure is mine. Thank you so much for having me.
So get down to the grounds, have some fun, and I look forward to chatting with you soon.
Everybody should.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Brian, have a great night.
Thank you.
Hey, what's up, though?
Well, it's your gal Yaya, and you're here on Yaya's channel. Just kidding. We are here with a great J.U. Get over, I guess.
I mean, it's not about taking it over. She's new to it. She doesn't know how we do it. You know what it is. All right, you started off again, and I'm going to keep you and interrupt. It's your man Jay Wu out here in the tropical paradise, and they say you don't bring sand to the beach, but alongside me I have the beautiful co-host Yaya.
Yaya in the building, and we have amazing news for you.
Well, we're outside, not in the building, and the sand is out here on the beach. We're here to talk about who got next hour on Jess TV.
Hey, and I know it is at Tuesday.
I guess.
You know, wait, let me do that. And I know it is at every Tuesday. 10 o'clock. Okay.
Oh, wow, yes. You can catch Demasha with the Zip Mouth Motivation Show. You can catch Jay Cabrera in Diving with Jay. You can catch Yaya with Reggae with Yaya
all the time.
And we can't forget who got next on this video show. So stay tuned every Tuesday night, 10 p.m. right here on Jess TV.
Yes, it's your man.
And your girl.
And your gal.
That's right.
All right.
Boom, peace. Let's have some fun.
Let's have some fun.
Yes. All right.
Black out if they act out. Yeah, I did that.